All right, thanks for joining in. Let's welcome Jake Abernathy from Dr. Asphalt up in Wisconsin, correct?
Yep, Wisconsin and Minnesota up here
Two
in the cold.
locations. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just one. I thought it was just Wisconsin.
Yep. Yeah, we moved to expanded to Minnesota 3 years ago.
Oh, nice. Well, you're originally from Wisconsin.
Originally from Minneapolis, and then I went to school in Madison. We started it sophomore year in college, and then
Yep.
a couple years after we expanded up here back to home.
Well, that's cool. Hey, so I guess we'll start off. Like, what led you into? I don't know, just start with seal coating, striping, what asphalt maintenance, whatever it was. What led you into the business?
Yeah, so after my first year of college, I actually went to Duluth, Minnesota, for freshman year. And after that, after the first year during the summer, I was looking for something to do as a job. And a lot of my friends from the hockey team in high school were seal coating for this company. I didn't really know what it was, but there was like 15 of them working there. So I'm like, I'll join that. That sounds fun. And it was a driveway seal coating company in Minneapolis. And, that's kind of where I learned it. It was a small company. So, we just did residential stuff and just crack filling and seal coating. So I did that for that summer, and then I ended up transferring to Madison, Wisconsin. And then after the sophomore year of college there, me and a friend that was also working for that company in Minnesota decided, we had to figure out a way to pay for tuition, or at least a way to help pay for tuition.
Right.
So we thought, hey, we learned this, we know how to do this, or so we thought, right? And just started the company after that season for that summer. And learned everything the hard way. Lost a ton of money for the first couple of years because we didn't really know what we were doing. And then just kept grinding that way.
Yeah.
And it just started to take off.
Now, when you first started, did you know? Like, I know a lot of people have like questions like, how do I find sealer? Since you were working with a seal coating company before, did you know where you were going to get bulk sealer, or how did you do it?
Yeah, we knew that there's a company called Seal Master, so
Yep.
we found the closest one to us in Madison, which there was one, so that wasn't an issue. We knew how to get sealer and generally what equipment we needed to get started with.
So did you start with equipment, or did you start with, like, some guys start with totes and all that stuff? But did you guys start with a tank?
Yeah, so we went hard. We got as many credit cards as we could and got a 225 gallon tank from North Star Tools.
Yep.
And then we ended up getting a truck somehow, a pretty nice, like 2007 GMC 2500. So we actually leveraged ourselves pretty good and started out with some nice stuff, which kind of bit us in the butt, but
Yeah.
we did it.
And you started out, you were just doing driveways?
Yeah, just doing driveways.
And how were you getting the driveways? You just going door to door?
I think, and there's a lot of controversy around this, but Home Advisor really got us started.
Oh, really?
So we got on there right away and started getting those expensive leads and started selling them. We did a little bit of door to door, but we didn't find that to be very beneficial, probably because we were these young guys that didn't know how to talk to anybody.
Right.
So Home Advisor really got us started. We don't use it anymore for obvious reasons, but I don't have a whole lot of hate against it because it did, it got us a lot of business that first year.
Right. Yeah. Now, you ran this while you guys were in college, or did you just drop out of college and say, screw it, I'm going this way?
So we ran it through college, just in the summers. At that time, we didn't really take it serious. My partner at the time was in school to be a brain surgeon.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the name Dr. Asphalt comes from.
Yep.
And I was in school to be a financial planner. And so we both ended up graduating, and then the business was doing well enough where I'm like, I'm just going to do that. I didn't even learn anything in college I was supposed to. I don't know anything about financial planning. So I should have dropped out because now I have a whole bunch of student loan debt. But
I feel the same way. I went for a business management with minor in economics. It was the biggest, I mean, other than the experience and having a great time, it was the biggest waste of money ever.
Yeah, I do say a lot that I paid a lot of money for an awesome time, so
Right,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. So is
Yeah.
your existing business partner, is he still with you or is he off doing brain surgery?
Yeah, so I bought him out a couple of years ago now, and I think I was just texting him, he's taking his exam to actually be that,
Really?
I don't know if it's still brain surgery, but some crazy surgery
Something,
type
yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive. The funny story is I started way back 2000, started doing it like when I was in high school. But again, I started in college also. But probably my third year into it, I did this next to my parents' house is a huge parking lot. The guy he refurbishes ambulances, and he always had ambulances with no box on them sitting out by the road. So just for the heck of it, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go up there see if he needs his parking lot sealed. He
Yeah.
said, sure, I'll take a quote. So what I did is I told him like, I'd really like to have a truck. Would you want to somehow swap, barter, trade, something? Sure. So I ended up doing this parking lot. Yeah, I think it was about 600 gallons in sealer. I charged him just enough for the truck. And he's like, oh, I said, I need some for the truck. So how would you throw me $500? So I gave him $500. Cost me the 600 gallons of sealer plus $500 to do the parking lot. And I got this 2007 Ford E450, which is an old ambulance. The name of the business was A&E Seal Coating. When I got the ambulance, I'm like, man, I should name this something to do with like Asphalt 911 or Dr. Asphalt, something like that. So when I saw
Oh,
you,
yeah?
I was like, wow, this is pretty funny. But yeah, so I have an old ambulance for my truck.
That's awesome. I'm actually looking for one. We want to
Oh
pimp
yeah,
out an ambulance for like a sales car and estimating
yeah, that'd be
truck
pretty
or
sweet.
something, service truck or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, this thing's great. It's like as I said, it's 2007. It's got like no miles on it. It's got like 130,000 miles on it. Because the hospital is close to our town. So the thing just sat and idle most of the time, which is fine with me. It doesn't get many miles now because I don't go that far, but but it's a great little truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was funny with Dr. Asphalt, and that's how I was when I had the ambulance. I was thinking I should just rebrand to something like that, but but I didn't.
Yeah.
So
Good.
so when did you start really growing? When did you start going from like one location to the second?
Yeah. So I think, so since we started, we've grown over 100% every year.
Yep.
We didn't really take it serious until after we graduated from college. And that's when it really set in like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I got to really take this serious.
Yeah.
So it started in 2016. I think by 2019 is really when we started putting some juice behind it.
Yep.
And then 2020 is when we expanded back to Minnesota. And one of the guys I knew from high school worked with me in Madison for a while, so he learned it. He also worked for the company that we all learned it from. So he was the guy that helped me start the Minnesota location.
Yeah.
Runs that one.
Now, how long did you guys go before you branched out into commercial? How long did you stay just driveways?
First year we started doing a little bit of commercial, but looking back, we way underbid it just for the hype to get a parking lot,
Right. Yeah. Say, hey, we can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple $1,000 is like, how could we lose any money on that?
Yeah.
But you do.
Yeah. Now, were you doing everything? Cracks, stripes, everything, or?
Yeah, we don't do striping, but everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I sub out all the striping. Everybody once in a while people be like, why don't you just do it all? Striping can really like make or break the job.
Yeah.
You got crooked lines and stuff. I don't want to deal with that. I'll let the guys that do it all the time do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances to it. A lot
Yeah.
of schedule stuff you got to do at night, or we just don't want to mess with that.
Right. Yeah. So now, are you doing other stuff besides seal coating and cracks? Are you doing like patching, asphalt work, stuff like concrete?
Yeah, we do a lot of infrared patching.
Yep.
We have an R&R crew for smaller saw cut patches. We do have a small Salsco paver that we use for big patches or like cart paths.
Yep.
We haven't done a lot of it yet, but we're getting into that a little bit.
Now, what's your setup for patching? Do you have a hot box? Do you just have like a dump? Like how do you do it?
We have a couple of hot boxes for smaller ones, or if we're gonna do multiple small ones in the day, otherwise a dump truck and skid steer for the bigger ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long you been doing infrared?
I think 4 seasons now.
So this is the biggest question that I've been trying to get. I, I'm probably gonna butcher her last name, but Megan Filion. She's on the forums all the time. They're from New Hampshire with American Infrared.
Okay.
We've been trying to schedule her the last 2 weeks. But hopefully we get next week. But so I really want to talk to her and figure out. I'm gonna ask you the same question. So Judd Burton, Asphalt Kingdom,
Yep.
is pushing the pothole stuff, but he does his infrared repairs with millings and rejuvenator.
Uh-huh.
What's your idea?
I think as long as you use enough rejuvenator with it
Yep.
and get that, get the patch hot enough and work it down deep enough, it should work just fine.
Now, what do you guys have you done it with millings, or do you just always use fresh mix?
We've never done it with mailings because we have the option to get fresh mix. We have mixed. We've actually used a couple times in the winter just a bag of cold patch and mix it in
Yep.
with the stuff you heat up, and don't take anything out and put rejuvenator in it. That seems to work really, pretty good. And I will say, in my opinion, infrared's more of a couple of year fix,
Right.
to get you more years rather than I wouldn't call it necessarily a permanent fix.
Yeah.
So that's how we look at it.
Now, when you guys do your cutouts, do you ever use the infrared to blend the semen after you cut them out, or you just cut them and then crack the semen?
Yeah, no, we don't do that. It's not a bad idea, but it's going to drive that price up quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer? I mean, obviously it comes to the application, I guess, but if you were to choose cutout versus infrared, which would you rather do?
Just in terms of what I like to do or what we like to do more would be cutting them out.
Cutting them out.
However, there's scenarios where infrared's going to be the better option.
Right. Yeah.
Cut out. It's kind of, and then, it depends on their budget too. If they want to spend to get this thing looking right and functional, cutout's the better way to do it.
Right.
If they just need, hey, we need 4 or 5 years more out of this, infrared it all day because it's, more cost effective for what they're looking for.
Sure. Yep. Now, cracks. You guys have a tow behind? You have with the kettles? What do you guys do?
Yeah, we run the heated hose tow behinds.
Yep.
I'm actually going to do a video soon, Simline versus Craftco.
Oh, nice.
Because we've had tons of issues with one of the two, which
Good.
I'll let you guys know in the video that I make soon comparing those ones. But
That's been like a debate in the industry for seems like the last year. I know since
yeah,
Ryan Anderson at Premiere, he was the first guy I had on, and he did a thing a long time ago. He was always, I think he had Simline, and then he switched over to Crack Pro, and he raves about the Crack Pro. Like, he just goes on and on and on about it. Well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys come up with. When you started, would you MA10s? Is that what you started with when you first got into it?
actually we started with just a metal bucket like that, and we'd bend it a little bit so there's like a tip off the front of it.
Yeah.
Pour it into the crack, and then a guy would squeegee it behind.
So was it cold pour, or did you actually heat up the material?
We heated it in like one of the 30-gallon ones that
Okay, yeah.
mix like that.
Yep.
Pour it into a bucket, and so many hands got burned doing it that way. But
How long did you go before you got the tow behind?
we got that, I think 3 years ago. So after the metal bucket, we went to the Rhino Works, the MA10 push melters.
Yep. Dramatic difference.
If you got a lot of MA10s going, it's quicker.
Really?
But if you've just got one crack fill crew, couple guys that the heated hose tow behind, they'll beat it a day.
Now you had the Rhino Works. Is that what you had? You said.
Yeah, we ran Rhino Works for a while.
I've seen a lot of guys talking about the soft heat now. You seen that one? With the infrared burner on the bottom.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. I haven't used it, so
Yeah,
not much to say, but it looks like it works.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Where would you say if somebody was starting out right now? Where would you direct them? Like, what would you say? Hey, if you're gonna get in the business, this is what I would do all over again. How would you go about doing it?
That's a tough one. There's so many ways to go. I would
like myself personally, I'll go first with this. So myself personally, I've thought about this numerous times, and it always comes back to you get those jackasses in town or in your area that charge peanuts for seal coating. They put on like a half watered down coat. It's gone by the end of the year. So that parking lot's that guy's history. He's never going to do it again because he just got screwed.
Yep.
Dealing with that a few times, I was like, if I could start over, I probably would just offer. I'd learn how to stripe, be good at striping cracks, and then patches. And I'd probably stay away from seal coating. What do you think?
Yeah.
What's your idea?
So what we've done is really focus on the client side, like are they happy with the job or not?
Right.
And all of our jobs haven't been perfect, of course, but how we've gained traction is just making sure that we do it the right way. If it's supposed to be 2 coats, you put 2 coats down.
Right.
If it's supposed to be a patch that's 4x4, don't make it 3x3.
Right. Yeah.
Just deliver what you say you're gonna do.
Yep.
And the client knows that if they get screwed by somebody else, and then I would say they just know that it's probably just that contractor instead of everybody.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I feel like it's going. It used to be that the industry had such a bad name, but I think it's getting it's getting fixed. So
I'm hoping.
yeah, another thing I would say is just try and know your numbers. It took us so long before we figured out what our numbers were. So we were just slapping numbers on prices and not really knowing what we were spending. And
right.
I think we'd be a lot further along if we, had our job costing figured out from the start.
Yeah.
And prices to make an X margin and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things you can do. Everybody's always wanting to know, like, what should I charge? Like, I don't know how much does it cost you to do this stuff? Like,
right.
if it's going to cost you X amount and you only charge this much, like you're making nothing. I mean, what you want to go to work and make nothing?
Yeah.
Another
thing I would add to that is maybe I would have learned how to pave driveways.
Yep.
I think there's such a demand for driveways because paving companies start there and then they advance to commercial right away. So everybody's looking for someone to pave driveways. If we could structure a company that's just for that, and this is in multiple areas, so you could have locations all over that, we just do driveways. So send your lead to us, and I think there's a huge opportunity in that.
Yeah. Now, as far as equipment wise, if you're starting out, would you do like you did? Get credit cards, put them on credit cards, get all the stuff you need, or would you gradually build?
I think I would, knowing what I know now, I would do it again that way. Just because it kind of put our back against the wall. Like, we need to make this work or we're kind of screwed. So it pushed us in that way.
Yep.
But that's just how we were wired.
Yeah.
That's
actually a good way to put it. If you know you got 20 grand over your head that needs to be paid back, you're going to get moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
but yeah, for the average person, I would say just probably get a tote and start that way, but try and advance as quick as you can.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys use for product in Wisconsin? Is there still coal tar? Is that banned up there? Or?
It's banned all of Minnesota and then in Dane County in Wisconsin. Yep. So we use pitch black asphalt emulsion.
You like it?
Yep.
Yep. Compared to, you said you used to start out with Sealmaster, correct? Yeah,
we used Sealmaster for a little while, and then pitch black guy came around, and we've used that ever since. I think it's the best stuff.
What separates it from Sealmaster?
It's way blacker. It's much easier to use. There's no clogging. I'd say those are the main 3 right there.
Yeah. Now, when you say clogging, what was clogging up with you guys?
We'd get a lot of settling in the tank, even with agitation.
Yeah.
And then like beads. Now, it might have just been that plant because I know Sealmaster's a good product, but that's just what we encountered.
Right. Yeah. So I had a problem this year. We just switched over to AE asphalt emulsion this year because the coal tar mysterious shortage that there was.
Yeah.
So my first fill up, never used AE before, never heard of it. Well, I've heard of it from obviously forums and stuff like that, but around here, never used it. Went to fill up, pulled up, did the same thing I would normally do with coal tar. Got to the first job, nothing was coming out. I'm like, what the? I just ran like water through this, everything. It was running. Like, what is happening? So I knew everything was clean. So I'm like, well, maybe the pump shit the bed. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, so I took the pump apart, this guy's house. Like, nothing was seemed wrong, nothing was torn, nothing, the balls were moving. So I put it all back together. So, I'm just gonna check the strainer basket. Pulled the strainer basket out, it was like the thickest pudding you'd ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? So I call up Seal Mash, like, oh yeah, you can probably dilute it another 5%. It would have been nice if you told me that before. But I got it working. But yeah, it was an experience, that first fill up. I was like, I didn't know what was going on, and then I pulled that strainer basket. And I was like shocked. But yeah, so I had to get a bigger strainer basket, the bigger mesh.
Yep.
Nightmare at first.
Yeah, there's some things different about it, but once you get it figured out, it's pretty easy to use, I would say.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it for the fact that I didn't get burned. There was no smell.
Yeah.
It was so much nicer to work with. So I had a new guy with me this year, and I'm like, you're lucky. He's like this really fair complected guy. I'm like, you're super lucky you're not dealing with coal tar, because you would be fried. You look like a lobster.
Yeah, we've never used it, but
Never,
heard it's
yeah,
pretty nasty.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for Dr. Asphalt? Like, where are you looking to go? Where do you want to take it to?
We want to grow it as big as possible. I mean, if we can keep on the 100% growth every year, that would be amazing. We're getting to the point now where that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
It's our size, but another thing I want to do is expand to Dallas. And kind of have a more of a year-round location. I also really like Dallas. I could see that as HQ someday. So that's definitely in the plans.
Yeah. Now, do you know somebody down there now, or you would just go down there and start it yourself?
I don't know anyone down there, but I would probably find somebody or one of the team guys on the team to start it, and then eventually make that the headquarters and move down there at least part of the year.
I think everybody wants. Well, I know myself. I'd like to leave the cold also.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of it. Your path on growth. What have you guys been doing? Just pounding social media, local ads.
Yeah, if there was one thing I would attribute to the growth is how we prospect and outreach.
Yep.
Some of our biggest clients and long-term clients have been from just cold calling or stopping into a business, or even just emailing, saying, hey, we saw your parking lot needs work. Can we give you a quote? And that's how above everything else, that's how we've grown the most.
Really?
Yes.
Good old grassroots, just getting after it.
Yeah. So now our sales guys have like a process to follow on how, to hunt those clients and then get them on the hook and turn them into long-time clients.
Now, are you guys into the videos at all? Have you guys started doing like the videos of your work and all that stuff, all on jobs?
Yeah, we started getting into that quite a bit this year. We've got some good reels and some good edits and drone video put together.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I started this, is because I was like, you know what? I need to get better at that. The only way to get better is actually sit down and just start recording stuff. So it's let's just talk to people in the industry and figure it out. So that was one of the reasons I started this.
Love it.
So you said, how long you been doing this?
This would be 7 seasons.
7 seasons. And how many guys you have with you guys? How many employees?
Our Medicine location, which is the bigger one, fluctuates between about 17 and 20 right now.
Wow.
5 of those being in the office or salesmen.
Yep.
And then this past season in Minnesota, we had 5 or 6 fluctuate. You lose a guy, drop a guy, or gain a guy. I do see Minnesota becoming bigger than Wisconsin, potentially.
Now, what's the percentage is it strictly like 100% seal coat, or is it like, do you have some that's like, say, just primarily crack jobs, or is there a mix, or is it just primarily all seal and stripes? I mean, seal and crack stripes.
No, that's a mix.
Yeah.
Some jobs are just crack fill, some are just seal, some are both, some are all including patching.
Yeah.
It's a big mix.
No, let's say to date, what's the largest square footage you guys have done?
I would say on one job, about 460,000 square foot.
Pretty good size.
And then biggest at one time, we did a Costco overnight this past summer. And that was about 390 or something like that.
Wow, it's pretty decent. That's pretty good size. Just how long did it take?
The Costco, we started at like 4 PM on a Saturday and finished on Sunday around noon.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
That's 2 coats.
2 coats. Yeah.
You guys have spray bars behind the trucks?
We don't, which I've been wanting to get in motion for a while now. We have them, but we just haven't worked them into the system yet.
Yep. And what do you guys average a year for gallons?
This year about 110,000 gallons, 110,000. Yeah.
Yep.
We also sell sealer out of both locations for pitch black.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you have a bulk tank, but yeah, obviously you do.
Yeah.
When did
So
you make the jump to get in the bulk tank?
So that our Madison location actually, when we took that over, it was a mini plant.
Oh yeah.
So we actually for one season made our own pitch black sealer. Long story, but that plant was broken off from the license of the state. And then we ended up getting, purchased or acquired by a pitch black that had the license for both Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yep.
So we got our bulk tanks when we purchased that mini plant.
So you have experience actually producing the sealer.
Yeah, there was many nights that summer I'd get back from the job and make sealer till 2 a.m. Yeah, we needed sealer tomorrow, so I made sealer all night.
That's interesting. And that's a good one. I bet most people have never experienced.
I bet it's a dirty process.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's dusty, dirty.
How long does it take to get ready? Like say you start at noontime, when will you have a batch ready?
Me probably by 3 o'clock.
Really?
About 3 hours.
That's pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. I was making about 1,100 gallons per batch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was primarily for you guys, or that was for you and whoever else is coming in?
For us and whoever else was coming in. So we'd have to make a couple batches a day. Sometimes other guys would do it, but a lot of times I'd be the last option and have to get her done.
Are you in an area, you must be, where there's a lot of seal coaters, or?
Yeah. Both of our areas, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I'm sure you guys have the low ball seal coaters out there, right?
Yep.
Everybody has those guys.
Everybody's got them. Yep.
It was funny. I was filling up this past year and I saw a guy come in. He had a Chevy 2500 with a flatbed on the back, and the whole thing was lined with buckets. So he probably had 50 buckets on the back there. And the guy at Sealmaster, I load up Sealmaster. He's like, I can't fill those up. It was like a fighting match. This guy, he's like, I need sealer. Like, well, one, my hose doesn't reach as far as your truck is, and I can't fill up all those individual buckets. It's gonna be a disaster. So, did you guys ever get anybody like that to pull in with like buckets to try to fill up?
Yeah, not buckets, but totes or 55-gallon drums.
Yeah.
But actually, when the first year I started learning in Minneapolis, we were those guys.
Yeah.
The company I work for, we'd have one truck with a tank and the other one with a whole bunch of buckets.
Well, that's a little different. That's a little different though. You actually fill up a tank and then put them in the buckets, right?
Well, I guess, yeah, we'd fill the tank, put them in the buckets, fill the tank.
This guy legit came up with 50. He had like a row of 5 across the flatbed, another row of 5, 5, 5, and he wanted to fill up like 50 buckets.
That sounds like a mess.
Yeah, that's what the guy told him. He's like, it's gonna make a mess in the parking lot in your truck. Like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So you started off, I'm assuming, squeegeeing or brushing. What do you guys do now? Both?
Yeah, we brush driveways and seal and spray, anything big.
Yep. I see a lot of guys trying to get the squeegee machines for commercial. You ever thought about something like that?
Yes, it's definitely on the wish list.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple companies uh do that on jobs for us that we couldn't get to.
Yep.
Like one guy flying through the parking lot. It's like, we got to get one of those.
So from your personal experience, since you saw one operate, you've seen the product after it's done. Is there a big difference?
No, sometimes you can see the lines from the spray tips on the spray bar, but other than that, there's not much difference. It's just, I would say, the same application, a lot more a lot more even,
Yeah.
because it's coming out of the spray bar, just driving down, and a lot quicker, a lot more efficient.
Now, what about the wear? Because I hear a lot of guys say like the first coat squeegee, second coat spray lasts much longer. How did that parking lot hold up? Is it lasting longer than your other ones you've seen?
I don't know. So they sprayed both coats with that.
Oh, it's great both.
It's got a spray bar and the squeegee option, and that company just uses, double coats to spray with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see somebody or talk to somebody that's seen or uses the squeegee for a squeegee the first, spray the second. I'd like to see, but everybody says it lasts much longer. So I'd like to actually hear from somebody who's done it and find out.
Yeah, you should reach out to what's his name? Daniel with Proline.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah. Yep.
I think they do that.
Do they do that?
I think so.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to reach out to them and see. I know there was another guy that's on the list, Lance Phillips.
Oh yeah.
He has one. I've been trying to get him on. It's playing phone tag and email tag back and forth, trying to schedule a time. But yeah, hopefully pretty soon we'll find something out like that. So any parting words? Anything you say to somebody that's looking to get into the business?
I would say, if you're looking to get in the business, get connected with everybody that's already in it, because you'll learn a lot of the hard stuff that we learned, that we can just, help direct you along the way. I think a lot of guys in this industry is very helpful to each other for the most part. So I think it's a great business to get into, but find some guys in the industry to help you along the way.
I guess it's not parting words because I had one more question about now that you brought that up. The expos, new guys, would you recommend them get to the expos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you do all the classes? Do you just network? What are you doing when you're there?
We do some of the classes. I don't find them very good. It's just kind of a rushed thing, I feel like.
Right.
I think the most value is just meeting other guys and have a bunch of questions for guys that have been in the industry, and take some notes down. That'll be a better way to do it.
How was this year's show? Was it good?
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a few classes. Some were good, some were okay, but the value comes from talking to the other guys or vendors on the floor.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What about the next one? You going to the next one? Is it ConAg?
We might.
Yeah.
You?
I'm not. That's in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to be at that one. My wife enjoys. Well, let me say this. My wife works very hard. She's a nurse, like cardiac cath nurse.
Yeah.
She loves to vacation. So she books as many vacations as she can in the off season. So like during the NPE, I was away on vacation. The week before that, we were on vacation. She's got another vacation scheduled before season starts up. So like all my off season is just traveling around. Which,
doesn't sound too bad.
yeah, it's not that bad. I enjoy it. I'm thankful that she busts her butt like she does. But
Yeah.
I told her next year, like, well, let's try to schedule some of these around like the NPE or the ConAg so I can go to these.
Yeah, NP's in Tampa next year,
Yeah, I
so
know that.
get that one.
Yep. So that'd be good because we usually go to St. John the same time NPE is. So we could actually move it to like the week before. And I could just come back to Florida on the way back to Boston.
There you go.
Be easier doing it that way. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks for jumping on and answering some questions and hopefully helping some people out. Gonna let you get going here, and I gotta do the same thing. I gotta bring my son to preschool here in a few minutes. But thanks for coming on. Hope you have a good season coming up, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, have a good one.
Yep, you too.